Everyone has heard of the gold rush of 1849 in California that has changed and developed much of the western United States. Well, most of those deposits are now depleted, and many of those are ghost towns today. After having been in the gold industry for 19 years, I so often wished I could turn back time, back to an era in which gold could easily be found if sought. Now, you and I know that isn't possible, and nothing will bring back time, but I know of another gold rush that is happening today and may become far bigger than the one in California. This is in Guyana, located in the northeastern part of the South American continent. This country is the only English-speaking one on that continent. Guyana is just 3.5 hours from the Miami airport and serviced by 2 airlines daily. I first prospected for gold there in 1996, after which I then needed 1 full year of field preparation. This included road construction of 13 miles through dense jungle and 6 bridges to build to give logistical support for the prospecting venture. Most of this was done by chainsaws and hand labor. The road is done today, and I've been producing gold for about 6 months now through a system called land dredging. This is my story, and unlike most stories, this one contains something different. This one is backed by the gold receipt sales to the Guyana Gold Board in the Republic of Guyana. What you're about to see is most interesting and informative. Most people know very little about Guyana and can only identify it to Jim Jones years ago. Yes, this is where Jim Jones met his Waterloo, but it has no reflection on the people or the country itself. The fact of the matter is that gold and diamonds have been mined here for over 100 years in huge quantities, and most of the world has no idea or concept how much has been mined out each year. What I would like to do is to take you through step by step, briefly, of the prospecting procedures we've employed here and the results we've gotten. This is the land of which a gold mining company, which started production only 4.5 years ago, currently produces just under 1,000 ounces of gold per day. This is the land of the legendary El Dorado. Many still seek it, and only the bold will even have the opportunity to find it. Now, knowing we cannot turn back time, we're going to go back to the Guyana goldfields, where time hasn't changed in hundreds of years. The Industrial Revolution in gold mining has not hit this country as of yet, but is just about to begin. First, the land is cleared of any trees and organic vegetation. This is currently being done by chainsaws and hand cutlasses by the labor workforce. The next procedure is to bore a hole in the ground with water jets, passing all the slurry into a gravel pump. The pump then transfers the slurry to a sluice box, which separates out the gold and discharges the remaining gravel. In our procedure, we backfill all holes, leaving the environment in a stable condition in which the jungle regrows itself. We use no harmful chemicals, protecting our environment and our employees as well. All our procedures are approved by the Guyana Geology and Mines Commission. This procedure is an old, tried, and proven one, simply employing water and gravitational means for separation. Of course, there are some improvements that we have added to this method, but they only enhance the recovery of the gold itself. Please keep in mind, these are prospecting tools only, and actual mining production equipment will produce far more gold in a day than any prospecting tool could ever imagine. What the purpose of prospecting first is to prove due diligence upon the property for viability and economic feasibility. This is what we have done and achieved. Now let's get into the procedures we are currently employing for the recovery of the gold itself. As you have just seen, the gold has been extracted from the slurry into the sluice box. Our next steps are to clean the box and the mats very carefully. This is done by beating the gold from the mats themselves. after which the gold concentrates are now screened into the wash box to remove any large rocks and remove all nuggets and chipped gold. Then now the larger gold has been removed, the finer gold concentrates are taken to the warrior for removal of the gold into a much more finer and condensed concentrate, a gold sponge. The sponge, along with all gold nuggets and chips, are weighed and recorded. The product is now ready for sale at the Guyana Gold Board, and payment is made in a matter of moments. The gold can also be bought to a licensed gold buyer, and after paying the small royalty to the gold board, the gold can be exported. The next item in which I would like to talk about is Phase 2. This will be simply employing mechanization to the system itself. By adding proper machinery, we'll now be able to process much more ground in a day's time and subsequently receive much more gold daily at a nominal operating cost. There is virtually little to none of industrial land mining currently in the country of Guyana. The ground is first removed of trees and organic vegetation by means of a bulldozer. Then the ground is now ready for processing. With the usage of an excavator, the material is now dug and placed into a grizzly. Following the schematic now will give you a better understanding of the process in entirety. Then material is now washed into a 4-deck screen, removing any large stones and breaking down most of the clay by water jets upon the material in the system. Below is a side view of these two pieces of equipment for better understanding. The slurry now is pumped to a scrubbing trommel, which breaks down any remaining clay and scrubs remaining small gravel free of the existing gold. The trommel is constantly rotating throughout the process. The material is now screened once again down to the largest size of the gold found in the region. The gravel tails are removed into a hopper and on a conveyor for further road maintenance as needed. The slurry is now gravity fed to a sluice box capturing all the large gold and most of the fine gold. The slurry now travels to a distributor feeding Brazilian type jigs capturing most of the remaining fine gold. The slurry travels now to a centrifuge for removal of any ultra-fine gold and any remaining gold left behind. Each of these pieces of equipment now produce a concentrate which is removed each day and processed through an amalgamator. This captures all of the gold. The amalgam is now brought to a retort and condensed, leaving behind our gold sponge, now ready for market and sale. This concludes the processing of the gold-bearing soil, giving gold in hand on a daily and continuous basis. I would like to speak of our mineral claim in which we are presently working. This claim is 1,190 acres in the Oku Mountains. We are presently working on the land on both sides of Arawak Creek. This work ground is about 100 feet on each side of the creek, and following the length, with considering the meandering of the river, is approximately 4 miles in length. Our prospecting team has made numerous pits further downstream, only to find the ground is of equal value to double in value in some areas. This data can only allow us to think the approximate quantity of contained gold should be a minimum of 24,000 ounces without any further discoveries. The gold is coarse and angular, indicating its source is nearby, and the fact of the matter is no sand and all rocks are sharp, indicating the gold has traveled very little. Recently, we found one rock in the head of the box. Upon crushing, the small but heavy rock yielded 3 ounces 6 pennyweights. I am in process of securing other properties to mine, and thus our testing has indicated far greater in value. My name is Peter Michaelis, and I want to thank you for the time you've given me to explain our current activities and our projected Phase 2 expansion. Thank you.